So when I'm going to work on someone's hands or their arms, I obviously look at the way they're lying and how they're presenting themselves. But a lot of times to me, the hand gives just as much information about what the whole system's doing with or without presenting myself to the back. So just in working with the hand, just the light lift, feeling the weight in the system. Some people's systems can be very heavy, but also, again, it's a really interesting point to look at the levies or cantilevers in the system. When I lift through here, how is the arm working with me on this? And again, this is just a quickie. I could go right to the elbow and work. I'm actually going to start with the hands first. But also, just by doing something like this, look at the rate of acceleration. Some people can look at this as a torque or the twist of the system, but notice how the way the hand's presenting itself to me, it's not available like I would. In other words, I can't just suddenly do this. I should with my fingers very lightly, and there's still some hesitation. The hand wants to go forward versus just flopping off to the side. And that actually comes, first of all, from here and then the back, and we can go on and on. But just when I see this, and by the way, I wouldn't talk like this necessarily to my client. I'm just talking like this because it's more so for the video. So now too, is if I listen, you can almost see how she wants to help a bit, but at the same time, the information's sort of just going to the top of the arm. And you can really see this, and again, I wouldn't do this just to look at someone. I kind of work like this. It's like catching a big fish and just casting your line. And you'll see this more during the lesson. But the whole system, as she wants to, but is not rolling towards me, which is fine, because that's the whole point of the lesson. So it's always to make someone comfortable. This might be a little high, we will see. So, is that okay for you? Mm-hmm. You sure? Mm-hmm. Or would you prefer more of a towel?
No, I'm good.
You good? I personally love hands and feet. You can see it even more so in this position, just as I lift and to move the arm. There's more availability with the acceleration through the hand than through the lower arm, which is, again, is fine. I'm just making, and that, when I say stuff like that, I'm already making changes, or I know those changes are going to take place. That's some of the things I'm working on. I like to restrict or do almost as I do sometimes with the shoulder, the ulna and the radius together with the wrist, just to start getting in with the metatarsals and just to see what they are doing in relationship to the lower arm. Now, even in this kind of position, I'm looking to see, how the reflex is, but I'm doing it in such a way which makes it a very minute movement. Also, this is just one way of working with the hands. This is still the things that I don't even begin to talk about. Is what one learns in a training, not from just a video. But the whole process of constantly wanting, let's say, a hand to go this way, if the hand doesn't present itself this way, to do something in reverse or to the side, to see if you can work with the brain neurologically to make changes indirectly without forcing a conversation that the system's just not wanting to have at that moment. Those are things that, I can't even begin to cover on a 15-minute or 30-minute lesson, even to just stop and think aloud when I'm doing something like this. It so goes against a lot that I do, because none of this work is about what anyone is doing incorrectly. One of the things that I love about my job, and I really pride about it, is I truly see the potential in everyone. We have enough that we can say on our own of what's wrong with us, as well as what other people can say about us, especially if we've had trauma to the system, delays, all of those kind of things. I never look at someone that let's say can't talk if they don't understand me. They just can't talk. Doesn't mean they don't understand me. That's a whole different function. I can't even conceive that kind of. Not only is the reflex patterning changing, even minutely here, you can see as the fingers are adjusting, but you can really see it too off of the elbow. And I'll do it a larger scale like I did before. Also look at just even the acceleration. As acceleration changes this way, it also falls, or the arm drops more clearly and wants to rotate. Now here is where I start working with the extension of the arm. And even just this minute movement, and I'm literally just underneath the wrist, almost like a trigger point, and I don't mean trigger point therapy-wise, I mean as if I were pulling a trigger or something like that. I've got that little hook in my finger. But I'm looking to see, just starting on how the arm's going to present to me. I mean, I can feel how it's here, still in here, but I'm not ready to have conversation in that area yet to speed things up, let's say. There you go. I could have pulled on her arm maybe forever, or maybe it would have gone immediately after I said it, but just the conversation of me saying what I'm looking for, as well as just going back and just seeing how the hand has changed since I started, has changed since a minute ago. The system's fascinating that way. We're just always changing, just like we beat ourselves up that we're always wiser 5 minutes after the fact. We're always wiser. But it's the same thing too, if it's presented properly, that the brain is just itself wiser, the system is wiser. It's just remarkable. Now you can see how much nicer now the torque and this too, or the balance function in the arm, everything I'm doing is so supported. I don't want her central nervous system to feel at all as if she's being not so much dropped, but that she needs to help for her own safety or comfort. Now, you might have someone that's just so relaxed, but at the same time, if there's been a stroke or a trauma, or just, heck, they stub their toe and their system's off. They've never met you before. People are going to respond in a way that they don't feel comfortable, not necessarily with you, but in their situation. So now I can start coming in on the elbow. I still love these darn balls. They really have a way of changing the friction and the way the arm can sort of float and hang out there. Certain people, it's not the right size. I still wish they were, that can do smaller ones or bigger ones. Very similar to picking up the elbow as what happened when I initially picked up the wrist. The wrist is much nicer now, but so I'm coming in with the elbow and I'm just, again, I'm feeling the weight. Is there a weight? And also, how does the length of the arm want to come into my hand? This kind of position is driving a car, it's opening the doorknob, it's working with the mouse. But it's also doing all those things with the least amount of energy or effort. Same on my part. I still like to go back. Where did I start? I still love this move. It's almost like a figure eight. That's how I see it in my visualization. I think I picked it up more from my brief playing with belly dancing. Same thing with the Here I'm just looking at the possible tension that's going on through
Elbow.